lot. Hi, welcome to For Your Information. We are fortunate today to have our special guest, Fred Harrell from Rollover Pets, where pets take their people. And we love having Fred on here because he has so much information to share and is so knowledgeable. And of course, Tammy's with me. So we're going to discuss the heat and things that happen with pets in the heat. And I'm going to think the main things would be, the first two things that come to mind are flea and ticks, and maybe natural alternatives, because people do not like giving their animals chemicals, as they call it, and things like that. So tell us what we could do if we did not want to go the normal route.
Sure, traditional route, and as a disclaimer, always consult with your vet, about that. And if you have an infestation, sometimes you do unfortunately have to get it with multiple things. You have to have multiple things in your ammunition bag, I guess I should say. But there are really great alternatives to almost anything you could imagine an ailment that a dog has. There are really good natural alternatives. And one being, there are a lot of natural alternatives out there for flea and tick. One of my favorite alternatives for, it's not internal, it is external. It's the drops and/or the collar or sprays. And they do make a monthly drop that you put down the back, just like you did the old stuff that you would use on the back, or you can use a spray, or you can use a collar, and they work great. And one company, and if you don't mind, I'm going to show you.
Sure.
I'll just hold it up real quick. It's a recognizable brand, Wondercide, but you can't buy it anywhere else but Rollover Pets, okay? Because I'm the one that told you about it. But Wondercide is a really great product. It's basically essential oils, and of course I can go into more details. Certainly call me at Rollover anytime. But Wondercide is a great natural alternative. This is the spot on, so this will be applied on. This is the spray. They make it in several. This happens to be the lemongrass one. But these are really good alternatives, natural alternatives that do work, get great reviews. I've sold Wondercide for years, use it on my own dogs, and it is just a great product to have. You can also use Wondercide on yourself for fleas and gnats and pests on yourself. So wow. It's safe. It's a safe alternative for humans, pets, dogs, and cats. Now the flea treatment there are a difference between the dog and the cat. The spray is for both. Most of the sprays are for both, but they do separate on some of the other things. So make sure it is appropriate for the right size dog and the cat, or the right size cat. And then another good alternative, and I always tell people, preventative maintenance is very important. Even treating your yard. There are natural sprays that you can hook up to the hose end sprayer, and you can spray your yard. Certainly you can have your local pest control people come out and spray the yard. And what I have found, of course, if you keep your yard sprayed, if you keep the pest out of your yard and out of your house, they can't live in that environment. So essentially, ultimately, you will keep them off your dog. So don't just treat your dogs and pets, treat the environment that they live in. And so that's a very key important that a lot of people do not do.
Now, can I ask one question?
Sure.
The Wondercide spray.
Mm-hmm.
So how often does one use it?
So typically with the spray, you would use it a couple times a week. I think their recommendation is once. The spot on is only every 30 days, like the traditional stuff. The flea collars last anywhere between 3 and 5 months for the collar. Depending on, and when they would last 3 months is typically if you've got a water dog. If they're in and out of the water, it's just going to wear out faster. If they get wet all the time, it's going to wear down. Even the chemical stuff, it's not going to last as long. So that's the only difference on the collar. There is a range on the collar how long it's going to last.
Now, is there a flea and tick shampoo that Wondercide has?
Yes, Wondercide. Yes, ma'am. Wondercide. You can do the shampoo if you have them right then. You can do the shampoo and let it sit.
Is it for dogs and cats?
We have them both for dogs and cats.
Okay.
And then also there's another product called Scout's Honor, S-K-O-U-T-S. But Scout's Honor is another product that's a natural, similar to Wondercide, that we've been very happy with over the years, and they make a great product as well, a natural alternative. Another good thing.
What about the age for like the shampoo?
I think
8 weeks on up?
I think it's either 9 or 12 weeks.
Okay.
So it may be actually 12 weeks on that, and that's just as a precaution. It is natural. You could probably do it younger, but of course they're always going to err to the more cautious side. Even though it is a natural product, it is essential oils, and so you do still have to be careful.
Yeah. Well, how does it compare price-wise?
Usually less.
Okay.
Usually less, certainly the spot on is going to be a little bit less per dosage, and what you use typically, with the spray, you're probably going to end up being still even a little. You're going to be a little bit cheaper,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
And safer for your
And safer,
animals.
cheaper and safer in most
Yes.
cases. And so it's a great alternative. Diatomaceous earth is another product that you can use, and it is good. It's a powder, comes in a powder form. Make sure you get the food grade when you have animals, because there is a difference. Even when if you're spreading it on your pets, you definitely need the food grade diatomaceous earth. You can actually put it on the pets,
Oh.
and it's a powder, or you can spread it in the yard. The yard spread you can use the one that's not food grade, but I always err on the side of caution.
Caution to do that.
Food grade is a lot more expensive. It's a different size of powder
Powder,
that
yeah.
under a microscope. So you have
And
to
that
be
actually
careful.
gets rid of more than just fleas.
It does, grubs, anything with an
Yes.
exoskeleton. Not to get too technical about it, but it actually cuts the exoskeleton of the pest and dries it out
Oh, yeah.
and kills it. So yeah, but that's a good alternative. But it's safe. The
And-
food grade is safe for pets.
So you're really, like you said, to err on the side of caution, just get the food
the
grade
food
for
grade.
either, if you're
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
put them on there, or if you're going to spray your yard
Yes,
with
ma'am.
it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and
Yes,
in
ma'am.
that way, you're protecting the
Yeah, you're
animal all the
protected.
way
Yes, ma'am.
around.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, so I know you said essential oils. Is there any other main product that's in that, or is it just all natural?
Yes, it's all
All
natural.
natural
Yes, ma'am.
ingredients.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
And how, other than go to Rollover and make sure you buy it,
Yes, ma'am.
how would I know if I were out of town and shopping and maybe I didn't see Wonderside? What would I look for?
I tell you, you should be able to find, so there are three out there that should be fairly readily available. Wonderside is in some of your box stores, and even Scouts Hunters now you're seeing more in the bigger chain stores. And then there's another product called Tropiclean that's out there pretty readily, and it also has some natural. They started out with shampoos, but now they have a lot of natural flea sprays. So you need to. Those are the three main brands that I can say right off the bat.
Yeah.
But just try to find the most natural product. But I don't think you'll have a problem between those three brands that I will personally say that I do carry in the store that are great products. You should be able to find
Those without
Yeah.
a problem. And anything other than the powder we were talking about for the earth, for the ground, you would recommend?
Not that I am super familiar with. I'm sure that somebody will make a comment. There may be something out there, but
Yeah.
not that I'm familiar with. This all natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if we spray them or put the topical, what about baths? How long do we have to wait, or is it different from the other?
Yes. So typically, because the spot-on treatments do work with the oils of the skin, and so you typically don't want to bathe them 2 to 3 days before you apply it, and 2 to 3 days after. Otherwise, you're fine.
Yeah. So the oils.
So the oils kind of help carry
carrying
it.
it through the body.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Trying to think what compares to the other. Do most of these do fleas and ticks, or
Yes,
do you
most,
need to?
most do fleas
just
and ticks.
ticks,
They're both
okay.
flea and tick.
Okay, what about parasites?
So parasites, there are some natural alternatives for parasites, and Earth Animal makes a great product. So if you have internal parasites, internal worms, basically what I wish I had it in front of me, I should have brought a bottle, but so can't tell you the ingredients, but basically it creates an environment that is safe for the pests. It's not hard to pets, but it's not conducive of the parasites and the worms. So it creates an environment inside the body that does not allow them to grow.
Right.
And so it is a little bit longer process. I think minimum 14 days or around 14, 15 day process where you have to give it to them every day for like 14 days, but it's natural and it slowly gets them out. So if you have a bad problem or infestation, obviously always for the safety of the pet, consult with your vet, of course. But-
And of course, we're not saying there's anything wrong with what you get at your vet.
Certainly.
We're just saying for those that want a natural alternative, it's out there.
Yes, it is out
It's
there.
out there that you can try.
And sometimes you do have to do it a little more often, and you do, so it's a little bit less convenient. But anything natural, typically, whether it be for our pets or ourselves, is going to be a little bit more convenient than your pharmaceutical chemicals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, will these treat like ear mites as well?
We do have an ear mite treatment as well. A Wonderside makes an ear mite
Okay.
treatment.
Does the
Earth
flea
Elm-
and tick product
Yes, ma'am.
treat the ear
Yes.
mites?
Yes.
Okay.
That one, yes.
Okay.
That's a good question, but they do make one that is specifically for
For ear
ear
mites.
mites.
Ear
Yes,
mites,
ma'am.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would say, and just from being in rescue, like it's not necessarily the same, but when we're talking about the vets per se, we had a dog that had to have its spleen out, and it come back a very fast growing cancer
Yes,
when
ma'am.
they checked it. I had a rescue friend in Tennessee send me a message and said, start feeding raw dog food, get turkey tail mushroom powder and some other things. And I told my vet, I said, this is what they suggested. And he looked at me and he said, well, it's not going to hurt the dog.
Sure.
And Eastern medicine was here before Western.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, and they gave the dog from their experience of dealing with this, maybe 4 months. The dog lived over a year.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it did work. I mean, you know, so I would say, I would tell my vet, if I'm going to go natural, I'd probably tell them that's what I was using. And I guess the other biggie would be, there's probably nothing for the heartworms. Are you going to tell me there is?
Well, you know, from the larva of the mosquitoes and the
Yeah.
flies, and so it cause the worms and lay eggs and things like that. So that goes back to kind of to keep the heartworms away. As long as you're using your preventative maintenance to keep the pest off the dogs, hopefully you won't get to the point where you have
where the
heartworms.
mosquito
Yes,
actually
ma'am.
bites.
But
and
once
does
you
that.
get heartworms, that is definitely, to my knowledge, that is going to be a vet treated situation.
Because that seems to be the go-to thing now, is the thing that does heartworms, fleas, ticks, you know,
Yeah.
the whole gamut, and
Yes, ma'am.
parasites,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know.
So I personally, yes, you still need to do your, in my opinion, you still need to do your heartworm
Heartworms,
test.
yes.
ma'am.
Yeah.
But if you don't let it get to that point, but if you have rescues that have not been taken care of or whatever, or, you know, hey, I've forgotten to give mine for 2 months, you know, whatever. I mean, we all do it.
Yeah.
You know, knock on wood, never had any issues with heartworms with any of my pets. But
Yeah.
the main thing is if you're getting one that you've had, you're not rescuing, you just preventative maintenance. Keep the environment away from. Don't let it get to that point.
And
Yeah.
also keep mosquitoes from breeding around in your area
Yes.
as well.
Yes, get your yard treated.
Yep,
There's
watch
all
for
kinds
those
of things. Mhm.
pans of food, water.
Water,
I mean,
yeah. Yep.
you know, buckets of water that you're like,
Standing
oh,
water,
that's been sitting there for a while.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so that also helps if you're trying to go natural with everything, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Watch
Absolutely.
your environment as far as breeding.
Yeah.
Great point.
That's
Just-
not necessarily going to stop heartworms, but,
Right,
Yeah.
right. But,
but
it's
at
going to help
least you can
prevent
help prevent, you know,
Yeah.
slow
it's
down the mosquito population.
Yes,
And that's the
100%.
key. So many people really still don't know it's mosquitoes.
Yeah.
You know, they really think it's like they get it from, oh, can my dog get it from that dog?
Yeah,
Well,
no,
no,
it's not
that's
passed
not
from
how
dog
it
to dog.
works, but
So,
that's kind of, you know, how they say. Well, we're at a good stopping point, and it's break time, or just about, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll discuss other summer ideas for our pets.
Education is our most powerful tool to improve and change our world. Hi, I'm Rhonda Benfield, your host for School Matters. Join me for a new program every other week with information from and about the students and staff of Cleveland County Schools. Discover what our schools are doing to challenge students and help them reach their full potential. You can catch us on Spectrum Cable Channel 19 or stream us live on c19.tv.
This is the place that I was able to go forth with my education. I've been to different places. I've tried to do this a few times and I wasn't able to get my GED until I came here again, and now I succeeded. I thought it was going to take me 2 years, 2 to 3 years, yes. It took me 3 to 4 months.
As Cleveland County's premier event facility, LeGrand Center is the ideal location for any event. The LeGrand Center is located 45 minutes west of Charlotte, 45 minutes north of Spartanburg, and just a little over an hour east of Asheville. Whether you're a small business looking for a place for an off-site meeting or a bride looking for that special location for her wedding, LeGrand Center is the perfect place for you.
We always have had
That's
a
true.
certain courtesy to other people upon their retirement or somebody's passing.
Well, I got something nice to say about our retirement.
Well, we're not.
Good riddance.
I wish that
but I
you.
thought-
First, he put giant flagpoles on the White House lawn like it was a Buc-ee's, and then he cemented over the Rose Garden. Then he turned the Oval Office into a place that looks like a New Orleans cat house.
Well, I'm sure President Obama evaluated both candidates and went with the best one, better one.
Yeah, one of
But
them
I
had a D
was-
by her name.
Uh,
One cannot help but wonder why. Betsy, one possibility would be that the Hurricanes are now afraid to enter the newly named Gulf of America while Trump's in the White House.
Welcome back to the second part of For Your Information. We're here with Fred Harrell from Rollover Pets. As I said, where pets take their people, and we all love Rollover. And just to say, we have such fun up there in our little corner for our dogs to come and it's such a great place. But we were talking about the natural alternatives for flea and tick going with the summer as it's come up. So how about some pointers on the heat for the dogs?
Of course, and you know, to me it's the common sense things, but don't leave your dog in a hot car, period. And I'm not gonna sit here and debate whether, you know, it should be whatever temperature, just even at 70 degrees, the sun is gonna create way too much heat in a closed car, even with the windows cracked. So just err on the side of caution, and just if you're gonna go somewhere in the heat with your dog, either leave the car running, which I don't know that I suggest because the car cut off, you could have trouble. You know, leaving your car running with not with is probably not a great idea, but just don't take your dog. If you're gonna get out of the car, just don't take your dog in the summer. It's absolutely just too hot, period. And I'm not gonna, like I said, you can debate what temperature it should or shouldn't be. Just don't do it. That's the safest way.
Yeah, and so if I see a dog in a car, and it's like it's been the last few, now today's pretty nice, but it's still be probably too warm for the dog to be in the car. But like the last few days, and the windows are all up and the doors are locked, what should I do? Can I bust the window out?
I don't recommend busting the window. You probably shouldn't do that. You might hurt yourself, and it takes a lot of force to bust the window out. And number one, it's probably illegal to do that. So, but definitely, you know, consult the authorities. Call the police. And I hope I'm okay saying I don't know if the cops would want you to do 911, but if you think it's an emergency and it is an emergency, that's what 911's there for. If you feel like the dog is okay and it looks like it's kind of panting, but it's not laying down, doesn't look like it's in any kind of dire need, then of course call the non-emergency number so you don't tie up 911. But yes, take the appropriate steps and call the authorities. And they will, if the dispatch needs to call, whether the county or city, if they need to call animal control or whatever to help out the situation, they certainly will, and they have a number to get directly to them. So yes, certainly be a voice for the dogs because they don't have a voice. So in that situation, you have to call. Don't turn your head, don't turn the blind eye to call someone if you're concerned.
Yes. And I think another thing that people don't think about is as it starts to warm up, if you've been walking your dog on pavement and,
Yes.
and you know, spring, fall is fine, but now we're in summer.
Black, hot asphalt will burn and blister your dog's feet if you leave them on it too much. So certainly if you're crossing the street quickly, try to get to the lighter colored pavement. It's not as bad, but black, the asphalt is obviously the worst. It absorbs the most heat, it retains the most heat, so that, be careful. Certainly, there are things that will help. There are even, Musher's Secret is a great product that builds a little bit of a layer, so it protects them a little bit without having to put shoes on their feet, because so many dogs just high step. If you've ever put shoes on a dog's feet, it's hard to get them to used to that. But and starting them, if you're going to do a lot of walking and hiking and things like that, not a bad idea to get some good shoes for the dog. Starting them out as a puppy, you know, so they get used to it. But starting them out later in life is a little bit harder to do. And but yes, protect your dog's feet and just there again, just don't put them in that situation. You know, walk them in the grass, get them over in the grass as quickly as you can. Understand you're gonna have to cross the street, but do it quickly.
Yeah.
You know, because it will burn their feet.
Yeah,
So,
in a
yeah.
heartbeat. And I think one thing I used to do when it was kind of iffy,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I had on flip-flops, I put my foot on the pavement first.
Yeah,
If it
absolutely.
was burning my foot, I figured it was going to burn my dog's foot.
Absolutely.
You know, so-
Absolutely.
So, you know, take care of them from that aspect. from
And
that.
Google that, and I can't remember what it is, but whatever degree in the sun, asphalt versus ambient temperature, it gets real hot real quick. I mean, I wouldn't say doubles, but it gets really hot in the sun very fast. So you'll be surprised when you see what that figure is, and there's statistics on that, how hot, and it will burn their feet. Absolutely.
Yeah. And this may go beyond the realm of the pet store, but I'm going to ask, say my dog is overheating and I'm out at the hike at the trail or something.
Certainly. Well, number one, obviously there again goes back to try not to get to that point. But yes, so certainly keep your dog hydrated, keep your dog cool. You can have pour a rag put on their neck, around their neck,
Okay.
or and back, or under their chest. They get really heated on their chest, and make sure that you just pour water on them. Keep them from being overheated. Get them in the shade as fast as you can. Make sure they're drinking plenty of water. If they do, if it becomes a serious situation, then yes, there again, you're going to have to get the
Get to
dog
vet.
help, get it to a vet as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
But the main thing is just don't let it get to that point. Don't overwalk your dog, don't overrun your dog, and just look for all the signs. You know, their gums are going to get could get really white. Their sugar's going to drop, and so just make sure that their gums are nice and red, and their eyes aren't getting really bloodshot, and they're just not drooling everywhere. Some of those signs
To see.
of overheat
And
exhaustion.
One of the things I've used in the past that really seemed to work, not that I've let one get to that extreme, but you know, you're out and they seem a little hot, is alcohol on their feet,
Okay,
rubbing alcohol.
okay, that's a new one on me. So,
Yeah, but
yeah.
it lowers somehow.
Lowers the temperature.
Yeah.
What dries so fast. And
I
it, yeah.
guess,
Mhm.
yeah. So, but I guess we just need to be really cautious with our pets in the summer is the main thing, and don't assume because we can do it, they can do it.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know.
And just don't overdo it, and know what your dog's capable of. If you've never taken your dog for a hike or a walk, and all of a sudden you know, New Year's resolution, whatever it might be, that you're going to take a 10-mile hike that
Yeah,
day,
that's too much.
and your dog's never been on a 10-mile hike, well, number one, it's not going to be good for you or the dog.
Yeah.
So just don't overdo it. You know, start out slow and increase their activity level as you go. You just can't expect a dog that's not you. If you have a couch potato dog and you decide all of a sudden the vet said you need to start walking your dog, you know, don't do it. It needs to be a gradual
Sure thing.
process.
Yeah. They've got to build up to it just like
They
people
have to build up to it
do.
just like people. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And of course, there's other breeds too, like the short-nosed breeds.
Oh, you
Great
definitely.
point.
Yeah,
The
very
short
good point.
nose, yes, they just
Really
can't
have to be
take it.
careful.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, you know, yeah, your short snouted, your bulldogs and your Boston Terriers and all, you just, and I'm not going to go down the list, but obviously you know which ones those are. They can't. The pig, they cannot take the heat.
Right.
They just
That
cannot.
is
They're not meant for
a
it.
big cause of death for them
It
is
is huge.
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Yes, great
That's
point.
very, very
So,
good point.
so,
I
yeah.
hadn't even thought about that while we were talking, but that is a great point. Because so many people do not understand the difference in the breeds and what they can and can't do, and that's one that can't. And
If you have to take your little dog on the trail, you just go ahead and get a jogger and put them in it. Go ahead and get just like the child.
Yeah,
Just put them in a
yeah,
jogger or a
jogger
big
and
wheel
go right
jogger and
with
go
them.
at it, and they'll be
Yeah.
fine. But
Yeah.
even then, you still have to worry about heat. And,
Yeah.
So
well,
they
and-
just can't
extreme
regulate
heat,
the
they
heat.
just can't.
Yeah,
they
they
can't breathe that heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't take it.
And so I'm gonna switch gears just a little bit. We've been talking about all their health and all. So we know food's very important.
Sure.
But how, tell us what the main things somebody should be looking for in their food.
I will tell you more of what you shouldn't have rather than what you
Maybe.
should
Okay,
have.
yeah.
So, yes, nutrition is so important for dogs, and I tell people all the time, feeding the right food, feeding the correct food is more important for a dog than is human, because we know when we might need to eat a salad or our vegetables or our red meat or our chicken, you know, fish, whatever. If you're feeding a dog a bad food, you're feeding that dog a bad food every single day because you bought a 30-pound bag
bag.
or a 40-pound bag, whatever size bag of dog. And that's food from there on out. You know, as long as you're feeding. And so if it's bad, it's bad.
So what's
And-
the problem with going in Walmart and getting a bag of Old Roy?
Yeah, so
You know, and feeding that?
sorry Walmart, sorry old Roy,
She
but
brought it up.
so one of the probably the most sold dog food in the world because of that. It is mostly ground yellow corn. And this is one analogy I use just to be funny, but it's so true. If the dogs wanted yellow corn, we would see them in the cornfields pulling corn off the stalks. They are chasing meat.
Yeah.
You know, if you go back to the wolf days,
That's what I say,
they're not
that's-
going through the
yeah.
cornfields and the vegetable fields. And so, although veggies are important for dogs to have in their diet, but corn is not one of them. Corn is no nutritional value to us, and no nutritional. I like corn, and I'm gonna continue to eat it, but it's not good for dogs, especially when that's the majority. Dogs need meat. Meat first, always meat first. And good proteins. Just because it says dog food on it doesn't mean
And
it's good for the dogs. You know, if you want to feed ground yellow corn, feed that to your chickens.
Yeah.
You know, and not your dogs. And so stay away from the top 5 that I always like to that makes it easy on everybody. No wheat, no corn, no gluten, no byproducts, and no soy. If you stay away from those 5, it's going to get you away from the cheaper foods, because the cheaper foods are going to have at least one of those, if not all 5 of those.
Yeah.
And you will be surprised, even some of the more expensive foods that are out there, like really expensive foods that are out there, still have wheat, corn, gluten, byproducts, and soy. So a good meat first food.
Yeah.
And yes, raw is important to add to the diet. It gets more expensive, but you can always add that as a supplement to the food. And so I can get all kinds of details with nutrition. Certainly contact me at the store. I'll be glad to work with you on the specific needs for your specific pets. Because every food is not for every dog or every cat. So there are questions and answers that we would have to go through
And
on that.
I really believe, now you may pay more for the better food, but I believe there's food that is going to be better than Old Roy, since
Yes,
we've
ma'am.
threw that out there.
Yes, ma'am.
And still not cost you that much more than that bag of Roy.
Yes, ma'am.
Roy. And the other thing is, you're not going to have the vet bills. You're
right.
not going to be cleaning up loose
much food.
stools
Yes,
and
ma'am.
stuff, and as much of that. And they're going to eat less.
They're going to eat less. You're going to pay more, but you're going to feed less, and because it's more nutrient dense.
Yeah.
Okay, and so like I said, we know what corn does. It passes through our bodies. It passes through a dog's body, where they're going to retain the meat. They're going to retain the protein.
Yeah.
So yes, it is very important to give them the right nutrition. And yes, you will. In a lot of cases, you're going to feed at least a third less in most cases, depending on what food you're switching from.
to. Yeah. And the word byproducts just scares me.
Yeah, well, you just don't know what you're getting.
What you're getting in there.
Well, basically, you're getting everything that was left from what we didn't get or whatever.
Yeah, it's
basically,
not the good stuff.
You don't want to know what's in there.
Yeah,
it's everything. It's
Yeah,
everything.
you don't want to know.
Ground up bones and toenails and feathers and everything
Everything
else.
else,
So
yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So think about that when you're feeding your dogs. I really think people should. And my advice would be, especially if you're local, is to go up to Rollover, talk to Fred, and you have several brands to choose from in
Yes, ma'am.
different price ranges.
And he'll help you pick.
Yeah,
We'll help you
you
pick.
pick for what.
And not just me, our staff is super
Yeah.
knowledgeable, super helpful. Everybody's on the same page. And we have a wonderful staff, Zach and Linda up there, and Angie, and everybody's there to help you.
Yeah.
Everybody's there to help you. We're all on the same page.
Page,
So,
yes,
yeah.
and it's all about the animals,
Yes,
which
ma'am.
is what we love.
Yes, ma'am.
And on that, we're going to wrap this show up and thank Fred for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me. Hope I
And-
didn't ramble too much.
No, you did great. That's just what we wanted to talk about. And we will see everybody on the next edition of For Your Information.